Hello friends. We all know the knife hobby is really exciting right now with so many new brands and new high-tech steels coming onto the market. But we also know how expensive it can get very quickly. So if you're wanting to get into the hobby with less cash investment, or you just want to get your hands dirty making your own knives, well, you found the right video because I got some really cool ideas and some really cool how-to tips for you. But before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. It's what keeps the channel alive and the content flowing. Alright, so this is going to be the first video in a series showing easy ways to customize your own knives. You're going to see me build these two Russell Green River knives from start to finish. And also we're going to talk about this Spyderco Mule Team. This Dexter Russell, this is a small butcher blade, about 5 inches. It's got make a really nice skinning knife with the belly in it. I'm excited to use this in the kitchen when we're done. I want to get this one done. We're going to put a patina on it. We're going to put micarta handles on it, and we're going to shape those to fit my big 2X hand. We're just going to put a nice shape, a swell in the handle, and do a 3D contour. We're going to use Colby bolts to attach the handles. We're also going to do this sheath knife from Russell Green River. I think it's a very attractive, useful shaped blade. We're going to put more of a bigger swell handle on that. And I think the two knives are going to make a great pair that'll complement each other very nicely. Now this one's also, it's already starting a little patina on there, so we're going to do a little whole video on doing the patina on these knives as a separate video. Now this is the Spyderco Mule Team. It's in CPM Rec 76. Spyderco puts these knives out with experimental steel and tries to get feedback. They come without handles, but you can buy handles and sheaths for them from the website. There's also aftermarket ones. But in this series, we're going to be making our own handles. We're also going to reshape the handle shape, so that's going to be a little further down in the series. Another knife that I want to show you. This is an Old Hickory, about a $20 knife I got from Amazon. I replaced the handles with these 3D micarta handles like we're going to do with the two knives above. It's got the Colby bolts. It's got the 3D contour. It's got the patina on the blade, heavy mustard patina. I think it's beautiful. I think it turned out really well. The thing, it cuts like a razor. I use this every time I go out to my barbecue grill. This is the knife. Here's the handles that came off of it. Like I said, they're not much. They come loose from the factory most of the time. They're not bedded to the blade, so rust and stuff gets behind there. The rivets corrode. So upgrading that knife, I mean, it's a nice project. It's inexpensive. You can do the whole little project for probably less than 40 bucks, including the price of the original knife. Or you can buy the blanks up top. I mean, I've seen the Russell Green River, like on the ones up top, for about $10. Now here's a Puma knife. All right. Now in my search for a Bowie, I think the Puma had the nicest blade shape, and it has a great steel. It's a German stainless steel that, I mean, this thing came like a razor. But the handle, the problem was it's just way too short for my hand. The original finger guard was way down here. It had a big choil, so it didn't leave much of a handle, and the handle wasn't 3D. It was too short. My hand would stick off the end. So what I did was I moved that finger guard up almost an inch. Gave me so much more room. Plus I did a 3D contour on the handle. Look how it just fits in my hand perfectly now. I took a knife I couldn't stand holding, but I liked the looks of, and I turned it into a knife that, man, I mean, this thing, I think it's great looking. Now, it's not finished. I got some more polishing to do on it, but, you know, you could get those for $50. All right, here's the micarta that we're going to use to make our handles. You can buy smaller pieces, but I'm telling you, you're better off buying a big piece like this. You can get it for 35 to 40 when it's on clearance, and you can make a lot of knives out of it. Now the Colby bolts on the bottom left there, that's what we have, but you can also use pins. They're cheaper, they're easier to install. You just drill a hole and beat them in. You know, put a little epoxy on them first. This is what the Spyderco Temperance 2 has. It just has the same brass pins with the same kind of micarta handle. But like I said, I like these Colby bolts. They're a little thicker. They're a little prouder on the handle. I like the look, especially the 3 pins in the butcher knife. It makes it nice. They screw together, so once we epoxy the handles onto the blade, we just use a regular screwdriver and run them in, and it just squeezes it in there. We don't even have to use clamps after it's glued. The Colby bolts do that for you. Here's the epoxy we're going to be using. This is JB Weld Clear Weld. There's other products out there you can use. And then, you know, this is an option. We're not going to do it on these knives, but we're going to do it later in the video on some other knives. Is you can use this G10 material and put that between the blade and the micarta. And that just adds a little bit more color, a little more bling. I think Benchmade uses the orange a lot. Like I said, this Spyderco knife, I kind of not really liking the handle. I like the handle to be smaller, and I have to use the Colby bolts on it because the holes are so big. But what I want to do down here is I want to get rid of some of that. And you know, they skeletonized the handle so much. It's got all these holes in there, but I'd like to maybe round it off. And I don't know how close I can get to that hole right there and that one there. They're kind of in the way. The handle's a little too big on there. I cut these out already out of that same sheet of micarta, but I just haven't moved forward because I just really don't like the shape of the handle. I got to do something different. So that's going to be a different video. That's going to be towards the end. Alright, so now let's talk about some of the things you're going to need. You're going to need, this is a step drill for installing the Colby bits. I made this myself. I tried to make a video showing how to make this drill, and you know, the sparks and everything hitting the camera didn't work out so well. So we're not going to use that. We're going to use regular drill bits. We're going to use the 2 different sizes. And I'm gonna show you how to do it just by using the 2 different ones. Good idea to have some center punches. Just kind of making a little material list here for you. Here's the larger drill bit I use for a step drill. I just got some electrical tape on there. It shows it where to stop. Let's move this stuff out of the way here. Don't want to lose that. So when you start talking about the handles, these are pre-drilled. But let's say you want to make the handle bigger or a different shape or something like that. The bolt holes might not be in the right place. Like this one here, you could extend out, but you'd want to add another hole to it. These are hardened steel, so you can't use a regular drill bit on them. You have to buy these 100% carbide drill bits, and they're a little expensive. They can be $16 to $25 each. I bought 3 of them. They work, but you got to be super careful because I'm going to show you one here in a second. See this one here? I've snapped the tip right off of it. They're extremely hard, but they're extremely brittle. So that's a probably $20-some, $25 bit that's pretty much ruined. I could try to sharpen it, but I mean, it's not something my drill doctor is going to do. Here's another one that's, you can still use it, but it's got some chips out of it. I don't know if you can see that. The only one still like new is the smallest one. And then they're easy to lose too, so you want to put those away. Now the first thing you want to do before you start working with any kind of blades like this, either these old hickory or these Green River knife blanks, you know, with no handles on them, is you want to tape up that sharp edge. Alright, because I'm telling you, no matter how careful you're going to be, it's going to get you. And you're going to be grinding on this thing, you're going to be putting it in a drill press. Let's say a drill bit locks up and it slings the blade. You know, that thing go right into your belly like nothing. So, I mean, it can still hurt you. with the tape on there, but that tape's gonna make it a lot safer. And really, if you had a little bit more expensive blade, I'd tape up the whole blade. When I was working with the Puma, that thing had tape all the way around it until it was done. I did not want to get a scratch on there because those are going to be shiny. These Green Rivers, they're getting a patina, so it doesn't matter if we scratch them or anything. Now this tape, you want it kind of loose. Don't stretch it tight because the looseness is what's going to kind of give you the edge relief. Now, talking about safety, don't forget, wear your safety glasses. You only got 2 eyes, take care of them. You don't want to lose those. Alright, so, the micarta, you want to protect that as well. That's an expensive piece there. You want to get as much out of it as possible. You want to make as many knives out of the same sheet. So I like to put some tape on here, kind of protect it. Gives me also a place I can use my magic marker, and I can see it a lot better than writing on that brown micarta. So yeah, take the knife, lay it out, take a minute, think about, how are you going to get the most pieces out of this piece of micarta. And you also want to make sure that you get enough to go up there towards the blade, but you don't want to waste it. So leave just a little bit, maybe a 1/16 of an inch, maybe an 1/8 of an inch overlap. You're going to grind that off later, but if you go too small, you have to throw it away. It's going to be useless, or you're going to have to grind the knife down. So usually you just leave a 1/16 there, and then you cut on the outside of your line, and that should be enough extra. Make sure you go all the way to the end of the knife. Make sure you go up high enough on the blade. You can always take some off, but you can't add it back. Let's say you want to make the knife longer. You want to make the handle deeper or the handle longer. You could take a piece of this G10 and you could, add some belly or height to the handle or some length to it. You'd still have a through tang, but or you could use a flat piece of aluminum. I've done that before too, to try to make it look like the handle, but it's just an idea. If you want a longer handle, you got big hands, the handle's too short, or you want to shape it, you want to put finger grooves, you could use that G10 material for that. So when you go cutting your micarta, of course you want to set your depth first, and use a sharp blade. Use it's going to create dust. That dust is not good for you. Use a respirator. Make sure you back them up all that dust. Don't get it in your lungs. Take your time. Don't overheat it. It is a resin, so you just want to go nice and slow. Don't get it hot. Don't get your blade hot. It'll start melting it. You can smell it if you're going too fast. The idea is you don't want to smell it. Just take it easy. It's an expensive thing. You're supposed to be having fun anyway. So, got your first one out. And then use that one to make your second one. So you just turn your machine off, lay this over here. Make sure that, like I said, you're getting the most out of that cut. Watch your tapers. Taper at the top might not be the same angle as the one at the bottom, so just make sure everything lines up. Get your trace. Put your pen away. And you're ready to cut your second one. So let's go ahead and turn that back on, and here we go. Usually I have a vacuum attached to this, but I spared you the noise. New blade sure does cut nice too. Cut that, then we stop, take the vacuum everything out, put the material away, and ready to start putting the knife together. But that's going to be it for this video. Next video will show how to drill the holes for the Corby bolts, how to use the drill bits, the step drills, and how to prep those and get them ready to put on and epoxy them onto the knife. Please make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the future videos on the continuation of building this knife, and thank you for viewing.